podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Networks on Saturday, May 1st. It's May Day 2021. This is episode 1792. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by Casper. When it comes to a better night's sleep, Casper's new cooling collection has you covered. Focus on tomorrow. Let Casper handle the rest. Explore Casper's products, mattresses, sheets, pillows, and more at casper.com/twit1. Don't forget to use the code TWIT1 for $100 off select mattresses. Offer excludes the snow mattresses. See casper.com for more details. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography. We got your smartphones, we got your smartwatches, we got all that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo, that's the phone number if you want to talk high-tech with me. I'd love to talk high-tech with you. 888-827-5536. That's toll-free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Now, if you're outside that area, you can still reach us. It's a little more complicated. Use Skype or something, and it'll let you dial a landline in the U.S., and it should be toll-free. It shouldn't cost you anything. 8888 Ask Leo. Website, if you hear something on the show that you go, what the? I got to write that down. No, you don't. Because the wonderful, the talented James DeRuvo, our official scribe, is writing it down for you and putting it up on the website, techguylabs.com. And that's free. There's no charge. There's no sign up or anything like that. It's just, it's an informational thing. It's all there for you. techguylabs.com. Some interesting stuff going on with the Apple AirTags. They were announced last week, and we talked a little bit about them last week. This is something that Apple delayed putting out for some time. They were going to put them out. Well, at least they released accidentally. They released accidentally a video a year ago, more than a year ago. I think it was last April, maybe it was earlier, announcing or showing or demonstrating the AirTags, but then they didn't do it. And so we figured something's going on. Maybe they can't make them fast enough. Maybe there's a bug. Maybe there's a software issue. Something's going on. Finally, a year later, they released them. And in fact, the first order was last week. I still haven't got them. It's one of the Apple does this. It drives me crazy. I ordered the holders, so you can put them on a keychain, little key holder, stuff like that. And I got all excited. I said, "Oh, there's something from Apple's coming on Friday." I thought they weren't coming until May. It was the holders. The iPhone case always comes before the iPhone. So I have a keychain, but I don't have the AirTags. Now I'm thinking maybe there is a good reason the AirTags were delayed. Because one of the things that comes up with these things is the notion that, a bad guy might slip them in somebody's purse or backpack or pocket without their knowing and use it to stalk you, to follow you around, to find out where you live. And that, that's a reasonable concern. Now, you might say, well, gosh, couldn't they do that before? Yes. Yes, they could. But the difference is with Apple's AirTags, they work too well. So there have been other Bluetooth trackers like this, Tracker, Chipolo, Tile's the best known. I've had a Tile for years. You could, in theory, put a Tile in somebody's purse, but it wouldn't give you constantly updated locations. And because the Tile network is far smaller than the Apple network, it'd be kind of hit and miss. But it was always an issue, in theory. You might say, well, couldn't you just do a GPS? Yeah, not really, because GPS doesn't work so well in a purse, for one thing, or inside. So it turns out these AirTags are a really good way to track somebody, because you put it in somebody's pocket, let them walk off, then you say, oh, I lost it. Where am I? Where is it? And it'll give you a map, because every time it goes by somebody with an iPhone, which is pretty much all the time, the iPhone in the stranger's pocket goes, oh, I see it, and phones home and says, I see it. It's right here. That's a potential problem. And Apple understands it's a problem. So Apple did some things to kind of make it a little harder to do. For instance, it will start beeping after a certain amount of time, which Apple never said exactly what it was, but after a certain amount of time, it would beep at you. Okay. You can, if you have an iPhone with iOS 14.5 and there's a stranger's AirTag in your pocket, it will let you know, but you have to have an iPhone with the latest version of iOS on it. So that's not by any means universal. It just came out this week. If you have an Android phone, it won't let you know at all. If you find it, you can scan it and find out, who it belongs to, but you have to find it. So there's some, I think, legitimate concern about the whole idea of this. And a reporter at Mashable did this, was concerned about this. So again, I'm not sure how she got AirTags. They're not available to the public yet. But I guess maybe she got a review unit for Apple. Her headline, give her credit, Brenda Stolyar, AirTags are scarily good at tracking people and items. I know because I tried. So she gave her roommates these AirTags. She told them, but, a bad guy wouldn't do that. And was able to tell exactly what addresses and so forth. Apple doesn't say after a while it's supposed to let you know. It starts to start beeping. It says if you don't have an iPhone with iOS 14.5 or you have an Android phone, the unwanted AirTag will emit a sound. But that takes, she says, based on her tests, 3 days. Well, by then, that's a little late. 3 days. And Apple says, well, that's because, maybe somebody borrowed your backpack and, we don't want to get them in trouble or whatever. Okay, 3 days. So I don't, it's interesting to see what Apple says because, Apple's a privacy company. It'll be interesting to see what Apple says about this article because, She writes, if you're wondering what Apple meant when they said safety alerts from unwanted AirTags would appear on screen over time, the answer to that would be 2 hours. That's how long it took for my roommate to receive a safety alert once they left the apartment. So just as an experiment, the roommate disabled the alert, and in every few hours or so, it would pop up. And she says, actually, as for that 3 days, it's been a week, and they haven't made a noise. I don't know. It's a little, this theoretically has been possible since these Bluetooth trackers were invented, but because of Apple's massive Find My network with 1 billion iPhones out there, something to be aware of. She says, you might think I'm being dramatic when I call AirTags dangerous, but Apple's so-called privacy features don't take every scenario into account. It works better if you have an iPhone updated to 14.5, but that's not a guarantee. I mean, we carry in our pockets something that's tracking us as well, but the thing is, only Apple or Facebook or whatever you've given location privileges to knows about that, not some creepy boyfriend stalker. So this is a little concerning. I wonder exactly what Apple will do about this. And it's maybe something to be a little bit aware of. I don't know if there's anything you can do. Maybe, empty your purse out. Stay away from stalkers. I don't know. I don't know. It's a little troubling, to be honest with you. So I thought I'd pass it along. I guess as much as anything, as a word of warning about these AirTags. They aren't yet out. I think it's going to be a week or two before they start arriving. I'd be curious if Apple does. I mean, they can do stuff in software, right? I'd be curious. See what they do. Oh, there you are. I call you on the telephone.
Sounds very 80s.
But I get a busy signal. Hello, Kim Sheffer, phone angel. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well.
Very well.
I did my first workout without wearing a mask yesterday.
That's good.
It was scary. I only, it's one person as a trainer. We're both vaccinated and fully immune. But it was a little nerve-wracking, but it's still kind of liberating.
It is.
It's like walking around without your shirt on or something. It's just like, woo!
I'll leave that to you.
Yeah. Let your freak flag fly, baby. No mask. Then I put it right back on. Because, of course, we have to wear it here in the studio and stuff. But
I
nice.
guess.
It feels like it's starting to maybe.
It's nice.
Not in India, obviously, but.
No. I think I saw a plane going out taking them supplies yesterday, actually.
So
big
sad.
military.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Here.
So, but we don't need to talk about that.
I think I'll do something different today and let you choose. Dealer's choice.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about printers? Do you want to spend some money?
I'm just going to wave my finger around.
And then hit a button?
And hit a button. And whatever I get, that's what I got. Let's see. It picked up Paul in San Diego. Hello, Paul. Thank you, Kim.
How are you doing, Leo?
I'm well. How are you?
Oh, I am doing fine. 5 years ago, you made a recommendation for me to buy a laptop for my grandson. Well,
5 years ago? What did I tell you back then?
Well, we wound up with a Lenovo Flex 2.
Very nice. Okay.
And now it's dying. The graphics controller stops working every so often.
That's a little soon, I'm sorry to say, but laptops tend to, and I don't know, how old is your grandson?
He's now a junior in high school.
Yeah, well, that's probably time for a new one. He got him through middle school and the first half of high school. That's pretty good.
Yep.
So,
the question is, what to buy now? And there's AMD and there's Intel and there's singles.
AMD and Intel are really in this tight race to make the best processor. AMD gives you more bang for your buck, certainly on the desktop. In fact, my most recent PC is an AMD Ryzen processor. But for laptops, it's less clear. But I don't think I guess what I'm going to say is it doesn't matter. So Lenovo's still good. I would not, especially since he's in high school. Is he going to go to college in a couple of years?
Oh, definitely.
Definitely. I would, if you're going to get a Lenovo, get something. The FlexPad obviously didn't last that long. That was kind of the lower end of the Lenovo line. I would look at the high-end Lenovo line, the ThinkPads. Those are very good. And does he like Windows still? Is he still a Windows guy?
He's still a Windows guy.
Okay. Lenovo sells both AMD and Intel processors, but I think the ThinkPad might be a good choice, especially I really like the X1 Nano because it's super thin and light but powerful. It's a good student laptop because, once you get into the college campus, you're running around a lot. So I think a extra portable might be nice. I just generally come down to Lenovo, Dell, and HP as the big three. I think they give you good value for money. They make good gear. And, the Dell XPS 13 is also very, very nice. Does he want a bigger screen? Does he care?
He says he wants a bigger screen. His current one is, 14 inches.
Yeah. So they do make 15s and even larger. They tend to be obviously less portable, and the battery life goes down the bigger the screen is. 15 inches is kind of this, I think that's there's a Dell XPS 15, which is a very nice, I would say very nice laptop that should last him. I feel bad because I feel like that Lenovo should have lasted more than 5 years. Does he game on it?
Apparently a little bit, but not significantly.
Okay. Because there are, Lenovo makes a gaming laptop called the Legion, but I'm not sure necessarily I would go with that. And I didn't ask you, what's your budget on this?
Well, last time we spent about $600.
Yeah.
This time will probably be under $1,000, I would think.
Okay. Yeah, I think you'd want to spend a little bit more this time because, A, he's not in middle school anymore. Now he's going into college in a year. And so you're going to want to get a college-level machine. And I think that, the less you spend, the more likely it's going to die. So it's kind of like, 5 years, for $600, that's actually a very good deal. That amortizes out quite nicely, $125 a year. That's great. But maybe I would spend a little, $1,000. That would be good. The 15 inches tend to be a little more expensive than that, so you might be spending more, maybe as much as $1,500. So
does it matter if the processor
i5 is fine?
Single stream versus multi-stream.
All of them are going to be multi-core nowadays, and this, if you're talking about clock speed. For some things, generally when you have multi-core, you have slower single-core clock speeds. But most of the things you do these days take advantage of the multi-core. So unless you're gaming, I wouldn't worry so much about that. An i5 is plenty. I wouldn't hesitate to get an i5. Or if you're going to go with the AMD, maybe go with, I think the top AMD processor right now for laptops is, I think, is it the 4800? So I think that would be fine too, is a 4000 series AMD.
Is it really the operating system and the browsers take advantage of multi-stream?
No, not so much. So there's so multi-core is in some ways a response, and it started with Intel, to the fact that they couldn't get enough speed out of a single processor. They were kind of tapped out. They said, well, let's put 3 of them or 4 of them or 5 of them or 6 of them in there instead. The operating system doesn't benefit much, but if you have 2 things or 3 things going, each thing can have its own processor. And certainly some graphics programs, photography, video programs are wise enough to use multi-processors as well. So you're going to get a multi-processor. It's just the way it is. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hard not to get a multi-processor now. I don't think there's anybody makes a single core anything. So you're going to get at least dual core. You're probably going to get, let me look, the XPS 15, which is pretty much a little bit out of your price range, starts in the Intel i7. So that's, I think, 8 cores. More important is the amount of RAM. Like, you want to make sure you get 16 gigs of RAM. If you can afford it, a terabyte hard drive is nice. 512 gigs is kind of the minimum. Let me look at the ThinkPads. Again, it's very generous of you to do it, first of all. So I don't want to push you into spending more. But sometimes if you save money, you get something that's a little bit lower quality. So that's why I like the ThinkPads. I think they're really great, tough laptops.
I was looking at benchmarks, and benchmarks haven't changed that much on single stream. It's the multi-core, as you point out.
Yeah. I wouldn't look at benchmarks at all if I were you.
You wouldn't? Okay.
No. I think that's probably not... They're synthetic. They're not real world. So look at the ThinkPad T series, which is their kind of the lower cost ThinkPads. They come in well under $1,000, and you can beef those up. I think they're very nice. That's what I'm looking at right now is a T series. Not sexy, but he doesn't need sexy. He needs kind of a workhorse. And let me just see. I think you're going to get Intel for the T series. Yeah. Let's see if they offer an AMD. They do have a T-Series, the T15, which is a 15-inch, starts at $1,000. It's got NVIDIA's graphics if you want. It is Intel. I think it's not a sexy laptop, but it's a very functional, and by the way, should last really well. So I would look at a T15 if I were you, and get 16 gigs of RAM and get a bigger hard drive. You're going to need to do that because he's going to, he doesn't want to carry around stuff with him. He wants to have it all in one thing. But I wouldn't worry about benchmarks. That's the least of it. You're going to get a 4-core, 8-thread i5. You could get, if you wanted something faster, but I think that's fine. He's not doing anything too demanding, I don't think. I'd get I'd get 16 gigs of RAM. I would also get, it gets expensive with the bigger hard drives. But at $1,500, you can get a 512 gig hard drive. This is $1,457. You get 16 gigs of RAM and you get an i5 8-core processor, which is, I think, fine. That would be a nice kind of workhorse system. $1,457. That's the ThinkPad T15.
Why don't you want to spend under $1,000?
That's gonna be tough. Oh yeah, you said under $1,000, didn't you? Oh boy, yeah, it's gonna be tough. Hey, I gotta run because I think it's time for Mr. Scott Wilkinson. But look, they have ThinkPads under $1,000. Look, the T-Series are fairly unaffordable. Stick with the ThinkPads. Those are much more robust, frankly, than the IdeaPads or the FlexPads or any of the other stuff. Yeah, T440, T450. You can get under $1,000. Our show today brought to you by My Mattress. I notice I'm going to bed earlier because I can't wait to get in bed. Maybe it's also not just the Casper mattress, but the Casper sheets, the Casper pillow. It's that feeling when you get in bed? I know you know this feeling, especially after a long day, and you just go, everything just goes, all the troubles of the day, all the stresses just, that's the feeling I get in my Casper. I am a Casper fanatic. I think I've owned every Casper mattress. The reason I'm mentioning, we just got the newest Casper mattress, and it is really great. When my daughter moved into her new apartment, she needed a mattress. I said, honey, I'll take care of it. Went to Casper. Not only did I get a mattress, I got her everything. I got the bed, the foundation, the mattress, the sheets, the pillows. Casper has everything you need to help you sleep all night long. And they even have this new mattress. It's part of the Casper Cooling Collection, just in time for a hot summertime. What was it, 91 degrees in Orange County yesterday? Wow. It's hot back east, too. You're going to want this cooling collection. It's got their new Snow Technology mattresses, hyper light sheets, lightweight duvets, a breathable mattress protector, all designed to work together to keep you cool and comfortable all night long. We know you sleep better. Everybody sleeps better when you're slightly cool. You don't want to be freezing, but you're slightly cool. You don't want to be hot either. Tomorrow's a new day. Make the most of it with Casper's new cooling collection. Casper's Wave Hybrid Snow Mattress keeps you cool for 12-plus hours, pulling heat away from your body for sustained temperature regulation, a cool-to-the-touch feeling, and a much-improved tomorrow. You know that feeling when you put your feet in a different part of the sheets and they're nice and cool, or you turn the pillow over? That's the feeling. It's not cold. It's just refreshing. And better bedding makes for a better tomorrow. I feel good today, I got to tell you, which is why Casper's Hyperlight Sheets are designed with an innovative grid weave that lets air flow through for the maximum breathability. The lightweight duvet on top of it, still plush, cozy, but optimal temperature control too. Underneath, you've got Casper's breathable mattress protector. Improves the coolness of the bed even further. Because sometimes those mattress protectors, they seal the heat in. There's like a blanket firing up. Not these. They breathe. Air flows between the body and the mattress. It's all flowing through. All of them designed together to work to prevent overheating all night long. Because cooler sleep means better sleep, and better sleep means better tomorrows. As always, Casper offers free shipping, free returns. I love it. The new mattress came in that same box, the small box. It opens up and whoosh, it's a big mat. We have a king. And it's big, but the box, just a guy brought it in. I'm the guy. When it comes to a better night's sleep, Casper's new cooling collection has you covered. Focus on tomorrow. Let Casper handle tonight. Explore Casper products, mattresses, sheets, pillows, and more at casper.com/twit1, TWIT and the number 1. And in fact, on select mattresses, $100 off when you use that offer code TWIT1, $100 off select mattresses. Offer does exclude the snow mattresses. See casper.com for more details. Casper, CASPER.com/twit1. The promo code TWIT1. There's so much more to the trip. What is hip? Mr. Scott Wilkinson. He's the home theater geek, audio, video, big screen TV, surround sound, all that jazz. Hello, Scott.
Hey, Leo. How you doing?
I am well. Well. Big kerfuffle going on right now. Roku is pulling YouTube TV from its app store. Roku.
Oh, I didn't know that. I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, this happens on a regular basis with Roku. They get all of this is negotiations. Yep. My guess is it'll be back after somebody bends.
Yep. That's true.
The advice is if you have YouTube TV on a Roku, don't uninstall it because you won't be able to.
It'll come back.
Yeah, but they're going to keep it running. They're just not going to put it in the store. It's
okay. So if you don't have it, then you won't be able to get it at least for a while. I think you're entirely right that these negotiations happen. I still have satellite TV, and last time CW was off for a while.
And they put up a thing saying, if CW would just come to the table and negotiate, but they really, Roku put out a press release. YouTube is asking for too much. It's ridiculous. They'll settle. They'll
settle, and it'll come back.
It's important. It's just as important to Roku as it is to YouTube as it is to their customers. So, temporary. But we were talking about Roku. I thought you also had some news about Roku.
That's right. Roku and Google Chromecast have now added HDR10 plus high dynamic range format. Now, we've talked about high dynamic range on the show before, and I have said, and I still believe, that it's far more important of an upgrade to the TV experience than 4K, the number of pixels on the screen, which you can't really see much of a difference in detail by quadrupling the number of pixels on the screen from HD, from 1080p that we all know and love for many years. But if you increase the dynamic range, that is the distance or the difference between black and white and bright, dark and bright, that makes a huge difference that you can see from across the room easily, without question. Now, there are several formats. The first one that came out was HDR10, which the 10 refers to the fact that it uses 10 bits to describe the dynamic range. Normal standard dynamic range uses 8 bits. And you go, well, what's the difference there? Well, 2 bits. And it's quite a bit different, actually. It makes a big difference. But it uses what's called static metadata, which means it tells you what's the brightest pixel in this whole program and what's the darkest and what's the average bright pixel, rather. Those are the 2 pieces of metadata. And it doesn't work very well, but it became standard because it's free. It doesn't have any licensing fee. Well, then Dolby came along and said, hey, we're going to give you dynamic metadata, which tells you the brightest pixel and the brightest average frame for every scene in the movie. And that works much better.
Oh, interesting. Does it?
Significantly better. And so HDR10, the regular one, kind of was a little bit left in the dust, but the problem is Dolby charges a licensing fee.
Is that's Dolby Vision? That's what they call it?
Dolby Vision is what it's called. Yes, okay. That's correct. And so Samsung and a couple other companies decided, well, we're going to add dynamic metadata to HDR10 and call it HDR10 Plus.
10 Plus.
10
oh my
Plus.
Gosh.
And so that's out there. But very few people had adopted it because everyone already had Dolby Vision. for their dynamic metadata.
Apple does Dolby Vision. In fact, you can shoot Dolby Vision HDR with your iPhone 12.
On your iPhone.
Which is amazing. Yeah.
Amazing. That is actually true. HDR10 Plus has now come to Google Chromecast and to Roku. The Roku Express Plus and the Express 4K and the Ultra. And so, and there are a number more studios are now making content in HDR10 Plus than did before. I'm looking at the news item here, and it's not showing me the studios.
But you said HDR10 doesn't do that metadata thing, so it's not as good.
It does. It's not as good. It does something called static metadata.
Right.
It has one little piece of data that says the brightest pixel in this whole program, say a movie, a 2-hour movie, one piece of data says the brightest pixel is at this level, and the brightest average frame is at this level.
That's useful for the TV, I guess, right?
It is, but if there's one pixel, say in the credits, that's at 1,000 nits, it's the brightest possible image.
It's
gonna skew everything.
Yeah,
it's gonna make the whole picture look dimmer.
This might be asking too much. but who supports HDR10? Who supports Dolby Vision?
Well, everybody supports HDR10.
That the base.
Universal. That's the base.
If it says HDR, that's not true because lots of things don't support HDR. But if it says HDR, that's HDR10.
Correct.
If it's Samsung, it'll be 10 plus. Does anybody else do 10 plus besides Samsung?
Yes. Vizio does it, and I believe Hisense does it.
Is all the content encoded for all three systems? No.
No. And this is a very interesting point. Some things you'll get Dolby Vision. Everything will be available in HDR10. Some will be Dolby Vision. Some will be HDR10 Plus. And you might go, well, wait a second. Is this another format war, or do I have to have a certain thing? It is, but it isn't. Notice we have in audio, we have Dolby Digital, we have DTS, we have a bunch of different formats. That's no problem because most audio devices basically decode any of them, and it doesn't matter. And the same thing is true here, I think. You're going to have devices that will decode any of them, so it doesn't matter.
But not Roku.
Well, Roku, yes, though.
Oh, it
Roku
does.
Now it has added HDR10 Plus.
Oh, I see. So they had Dolby Vision, they had HDR10. They've added 10 plus.
They've added 10 plus. And so if you have a Roku, it doesn't matter what your content is in.
Now, to add to the confusion, Google has two devices. There's a Chromecast there's a Chromecast and Chromecast with Google TV or Android TV.
And it's the Chromecast with Google TV.
It's the newer one. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
And so that now supports all three common standards. There's also an IMAX standard, isn't there? For
IMAX?
HDR? No, IMAX? No?
No. Well, no. No. IMAX is its own thing.
Well, but you wouldn't get that on a TV.
No. Well, you could. There's something called IMAX Enhanced, which, that adds to the confusion. I wasn't even going to go there.
Sorry, I took you there. I apologize.
You took me there. So, Paramount Plus does HDR10 Plus.
Okay.
Amazon Prime Video does.
Okay.
Netflix at the moment does not, but they're thinking about it.
Do they do Dolby Vision?
They do Dolby Vision,
okay.
Yes.
You do kind of know what you're getting because when you first start watching something on one of these channels, either the slide, the title card will say, or it will pop up on your TV. Oh, I'm getting Dolby Vision.
Yep.
So but you have to pay close attention. I have to say, there's a show that I'm watching on Showtime in Dolby Vision, City on a Hill. It's with Kevin Bacon, and it's too realistic.
Some people do say that.
Dolby Vision.
I wonder if it's shot at a high frame rate.
Maybe it is. I don't know. Does Dolby Vision? It's better
Dolby
only
Vision
because
is better.
It is better.
It is. It's absolutely better because
by better,
bright scenes will be brighter.
Right.
Dark scenes will be darker, but you'll see details in the dark scene.
You can always tell when a TV show's doing it because they'll shoot a lot of night stuff and
right.
They'll shoot in bright rooms. They'll try to give you the range. But can it sometimes look too realistic?
Some people say that. Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
All
Some
right.
people do.
I was trying to figure. I don't have the, interpolation, the 240 frames or anything turned on. I just
Right. But they might be showing it at a higher frame rate, which more people say looks too realistic.
maybe that's it.
Could be.
It's so confusing, but thank goodness we've got
I
Scott.
know.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, it does get a little crazy there.
All right. I'm going to give you the con,
Thank you so very much.
and you will have a few minutes. Let me just...
Let me just make sure I can see you, and you're going to put on the clock.
I am.
This Zoom stuff is working pretty good, huh?
A little crunchy at the beginning, and then it got better.
Oh, damn.
Not bad. No, not noticeably. Not noticeably.
Okay, well, that's good, because I forgot to turn on a... It's one thing I have to do.
I noticed when you changed
manually.
it then. That's why it was crunchy.
I just
and then
changed it.
Yeah, that's when it got fixed.
Damn.
No, it's all right.
I've got to put a note on my computer.
Nobody hears it. I hear it. I have.
Yeah, I know. Well, we're both perfectionists. Damn. I just had...
Sounds really good right now, and the sync is perfect, and the picture's good. And we're paying extra for 1080p soon, so seriously, so it's going to be even better.
I wonder if there's a way. Hopefully, John or who's your Zoom expert?
Well, Alex Lindsay probably is the biggest
I
expert.
think
John's
is the
becoming one rapidly.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a setting in the settings that turns on original sound, or if I just have to do it manually. And then
so you have to turn it on in the settings, and then you'll get that pop-up every single time.
Yes. And I just didn't notice the pop-up.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. We'll investigate. That's a good question. It'd be nice if you could say, I always want original sound.
I always want this on. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I'll put a note on my computer and remember for next week to do it manually anyway. So anyway, hi, everybody in the chat room. Got a couple minutes left. I'll come back to you at the top of the hour. But Twisted Mister is asking if I ever upgraded my Spectrum to 600 by 35. The answer is no. Sorry, I haven't. The 35 versus 20 should make a big difference, and that's true. Well, I wonder if it is now that I'm thinking about it, because usually I think if I'm sending high def up, it's taking like 2 megabits per second, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And in which case, what difference would it make if I were at 20 or at 35? Because I'm not using anywhere near that much upload speed. I don't know. I have to get back on that. Beatmaster, did I have some additional thoughts on the high-res is useless topic? Yeah, I offered it to Leo today, but he wanted to go with high dynamic range, which is fine. High-res audio is a very interesting topic also. And Beatmaster, I thank you for sending me that video. What the guy is talking about, and his name or his handle there is, what is it? I will tell you in a minute. Sonic Scoop. I knew it was something interesting. He makes good points. For one thing, high-res audio encodes frequencies above 20K, but no one but babies can hear it. Sorry. So, what's the point? There isn't much. And 24 bits encodes 144 dB of dynamic range, but unless you're in an anechoic chamber, essentially, you're not going to be able to hear that much dynamic range.
This is just some YouTuber rehashing existing stuff. That's why I didn't want you to do it. It's old material.
It's old
There's a very good article which actually talks about the drawbacks to high res.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's really old. I'll send it to you.
Send it to me. Drawbacks are good.
Yeah. Well, the drawback is you got all sorts of harmonics that you're encoding all of a sudden. Anyway,
true.
Stick around for the top.
You bet.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I may not be losing my religion, but I'm definitely losing my faith in technology to solve problems rather than create them. I have to say, this HDR mess is a perfect example. The other day, I had a similar problem with Type-C. Again, it's as if they're trying to confuse us. I know I don't think they are, but it's nutty. So there's this connector. You've seen it. It's now the ubiquitous universal connector for everything but iPhones. Even iPads use it. But it's us older iPads and less expensive iPads and some iPhones still use Lightning. Everything else is using these Type-C connectors, which are nice. They have the same benefit of Lightning. You can put them in either way. They're reversible. You know, they look like a kind of a stretched oval. And the problem is that just because it connects, it doesn't mean it's going to do what you think it's going to do. There's Type-C USB. There's Type-C Thunderbolt. There's now Type-C USB 4. There's Type-C USB 3. There's Type-C USB Thunderbolt. And within that, there's Type-C that just does charging. There's Type-C that does charging with power delivery. There's Type-C that does video, but there's two different Type-Cs that do video. There's USB video or Thunderbolt video. There's Type-C that does data, USB 3, 3.1, 3.2, Thunderbolt 3, or USB 4. And those are all different speeds. You're supposed to, when you make these cables and when you make these computers, label the ports with icons that the USB folks have cleverly designed to tell users what's going on. But no one does. No one does. Or if they do, they don't do it completely. So you might just have the Thunderbolt, so that's Thunderbolt 3, but that doesn't necessarily tell you all the things it does. The reason this came up is my wife has a nice Dell monitor. It's a 49-inch monitor, and if you're going to drive all 49 inches, you either have to there's different ways to do it. It can use dual HDMI because it's 4K. It can use a DisplayPort. Or it can use Type-C, but not Thunderbolt Type-C. Turns out I went through every Type-C connector in my collection, which is large. It's voluminous. But you can't look at a cable and know what it does. Some just charge. They don't do anything. Some are Thunderbolt 3 video. Some are USB video. Extremely confusing. It turns out I've only had one cable in all my 100 Type-C cables that worked. That's why I'm losing my faith in the tech industry to explain all this stuff. One other thing before we get back to the calls, I want to talk once again. We were talking before the Scott Wilkinson segment about buying a computer. It's hard for me to say this in face to face with people who say, I want to buy a computer for $500. So I'm going to say it generally. I don't want anybody to get their feelings hurt, or I understand money's tight. I'm not trying to spend your money. But the less you spend for a computer, the worse it'll be, and B, the more likely it will break. And sometimes it's a false economy, frankly. I'm generally, I think it's the best advice is to go for not the consumer lines. Companies like Lenovo is a really good example. They have cheap consumer computers, and then they have higher-end prosumer / business / professional computers. And if you can afford it, you always want to go with the prosumer, the better pro gear grade stuff, because over the time that you have the computer, your experience will be much better. The screens are better, the trackpads are better, the keyboards are better. Plus, things won't break. You have to cut corners to get a computer down to $600. You just have to. And usually that means you're giving up a lot, and some of the parts will be substandard, and it's just sigh. So I understand nobody wants to spend. Used to be in the bad old days, you would always say, and I used to say this because I've been doing this for a very long time, the computer you want is always $2,500. In the old days, that was true. It's gone down, thank goodness. In some cases, it's gone down too much. I think the computer you want is really closer to $1,500 to $2,000. Expecting to spend less than $1,000 for a decent computer is asking. I mean, I know sometimes that's all you can do. And maybe then you get a Chromebook, which, yes, they're very inexpensive. But if you want a computer that includes a keyboard, mouse, and monitor, you're going to spend at least $1,000 for a halfway decent machine. I'm just trying to adjust people's expectations, I guess, is what I'm saying. People, because of netbooks, and because times are tough and nobody's got the money to throw away, have kind of come to the notion that, computers, they shouldn't be that expensive. Except, in a way, you're throwing good money after bad because you're buying something that's not going to last. It's going to be a pain to use while it works, and then it won't work soon enough. And, we need to reset, I think. This is my little crusade. Reset our expectations. It's going to cost more than you want to pay. But in the long run, it's worth it. I hope. Paul's on the line from Columbus, Ohio. Hello, Paul.
Hey, Leo. How you doing?
I'm well. Welcome.
Love the show. Called you several times, and I know you hate these printer calls.
You've learned that about me, have you?
Yeah. I'm just trying to get something to work a little bit longer. I want to get an Eco Tank here sometime, but right now is not the time.
What do you got right now?
It's an HP, Office Jet.
Office Jet Pro.
Office Jet Pro.
Office Jet is the line, and the Pro is the and what do you know what the number is off the top of your head?
No.
Okay.
I had it, but it slips in my mind. It seemed like there was a C300 or something like that afterwards.
What's going on with it?
Okay, it was working fine, then all of a sudden it wasn't. And on the HP Smart app off my iPhone, it says there was a firmware update. Okay, but there's a problem. So on the screen on the printer, and this is the three, scanner, printer, fax thing.
You said one thing that worried me a little bit. Are you printing with it with the iPhone?
I have.
That's what you want to print with?
It would be nice, yeah.
Okay.
It was working fine.
Does it work with a computer? Have you tried that?
No, yeah. It on the screen on the printer itself, it says there was an error. Turn off and restart. Do that multiple times. Unplug the power. Do that whole thing. It says check with HP. And we went to HP, and they say put in their scanning software, and they'll try to fix it. So we did that. It shows up because it was on a computer before it showed up. It ran that process, said install new software. We did that. It doesn't even recognize it. So
there's a couple of possibilities. I mean, it's hard for me to do better than HP did with their program. There's a couple of possibilities. One, the firmware update may have clobbered it.
That's what I'm afraid.
Sometimes that happens. So what you want to find out from HP is there a way to override a failed firmware update. On many devices, you can't. But that's the first thing to look and see. Sometimes there's pins jumpers you can set, or there's ways to tell it, you're screwed up. But if it's that screwed up, it may be dead. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Can you print it all with it?
No.
Okay.
Like I say, when we ran the software, I think it saw the printer was had been listed on the computer, and it scanned that connection, and then after it ran that process from the software, it didn't recognize it at all.
What would you like me to do to help you here?
Well, if there's probably a pretty specific thing you have to do. Like you say, the pins. It's a 10-year-old printer. I realize, But
they support it. They did offer you a driver update. It was in the process of updating the driver that it failed.
No, it was the firmware.
That's what I mean, firmware, not driver.
Yeah. We didn't even get the driver.
Yeah. In the process of, so you were updating the firmware, something went wrong.
No, right. It was an automatic update, apparently. It just happened, and we didn't even know it was doing it.
And what did HP say when you talked to them?
To follow those other steps, but I haven't got deep enough to, is there some other process we can do or something else to check? But
not that I don't know off the top of my head. The question you'd want is it does definitely sound like the firmware clobbered itself, which is a very hard thing to come back from because you can't get the printer you need to get the printer to a state where you could reapply the firmware update. Some printers have that kind of base firmware boot system, but I don't know if only HP would know. You could enter. What I would do is Google the exact model of your printer and something like firmware failed or firmware update failed, and see. Somebody will have posted it. Yeah. Okay. Because if that's what happened, it's usually pretty bad.
Yeah. It like I say, it was recognized before this happened. You know, I was using it off Ethernet on the computer and on Wi-Fi, and it would print from my A devices and all that, and then all of a sudden just nothing. So. Yeah,
that sounds like what happened. Unfortunate. I'm sorry. That's always bad.
Oh yeah, no, I appreciate the effort.
Yeah.
That's about as complicated as the C connectors.
This is why I hate printer problems, because they're weird because they're really kind of made these days like an appliance. Not that one. That thing's is for business and it's pretty bulletproof. But modern computers modern printers are made like appliances. They're designed to fail after a period of time and not be fixed.
Is there anything else? We looked at the
EcoTank.
EcoTank Epsons, like the 350.
Those are nice.
37.
Otherwise, look at a laser. If you don't print a lot, look at a laser printer. They're lower cost per page, and they don't get clogged if they're low usage. I found that I don't use my printer enough, and I was always declogging the nozzles. But is that HP a laser? I think it is, right?
No.
Oh, the ProJet's an inkjet. Okay.
Right.
So I would look at
What color?
Oh, yeah. If you want, do you want like pretty color?
It would be nice.
Yeah, then you need inkjet. But if you don't mind what they call business color, which is kind of washed out color suitable for graphs, but not much else.
For charts.
Yeah. Hey, I got to run. Scott's hanging out here. Hey, Scott.
Hey, Leo.
Sorry to use up your time. It's all yours.
Hey, no problem. No problem. Thank you very much. Jared555 in the chat room sent an interesting link to a YouTube video where they talk about the possibility of hearing above 20 kilohertz using bone conduction. And I haven't seen that yet. I'm going to watch it, though, because that's very interesting. I have a hard time believing it because bone conduction, I mean, to hear something, it still has to get into the auditory nerve. And the auditory nerve is fed by the cochlea in the inner ear. And the cochlea has basically sensors, little hair cells that are sensitive to different frequencies, and it only goes up to 20K. So even if you're getting into the cochlea through bone conduction rather than through the entire ear chain, outer ear, middle ear, inner ear, I don't see how you could actually hear above 20K. Now, maybe there's some mechanism, Dr. Mom, Grandma, maybe you could help with this because I'm not a doctor, obviously. But maybe there's some way that bone conduction gets into the auditory nerve. I don't know. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I also think you might be confusing high-res audio with broader frequency range. It doesn't.
Well, but that's part of what high-res audio is. It's able to capture frequencies above 20K. If you capture at 96 kilohertz sampling rate, you can capture audio frequencies up to 48 kilohertz.
Are there any speakers that could play that?
Yes, there are. There's something called a super tweeter that can go up to, I think, 40 or 50K. And there are a lot of speakers that you can buy that go up to 25K anyway, or 30 even. They're relatively high end, but they exist. And you might recall I did an experiment when I was at AVS Forum where I with the help of Mark Waldrop, who gave me 3 recordings that he had done at 2496. And he gave me 2 copies of each one. One of them was limited down to CD quality, and the other was full range. And I made them available to people, and I said, play both of these, A and B. I didn't identify which was which. And tell me which one is high res. Also, tell me the system you're listening on, because some systems are capable of reproducing high frequencies higher than 20K, and some aren't. Of the people who didn't have high-res capable systems, they got a correct rate of about 50%. Of those people who did have high-res capable systems, they got a correct hit rate of 80%. So something was going on. Now, granted, this was not a scientific study. It was not double-blind. It was not controlled. I trusted people not to peek, not to use software to peek to see which one had the actual higher frequency content. But that was the result I got. And I found it very interesting. There are people who think that it's maybe some effect on the skin. And this bone conduction thing, I'm going to check that out. That seems pretty interesting. Let's see. Jamez is asking what's the latest on the review front. Actually, next week I'm going to have a review for you of really, really excellent Sennheiser in-ear headphones. Really good. Really good. So checking about that. Lawn Dog says, the higher the frequency, the less vibration in the bone can be felt or detected by the body. Well, depends on the level. And you mentioned earlier that in this video, they're doing something like blasting the back of their skull with something like 120 dB at 30 or 40 kilohertz. I don't know. I have to watch the video to see if I think what they're doing is anything reasonable or not.
You should mention Malk Waldrop sells high-res audio, so has a certain dog in this hunt.
Well, he does. That's true.
I think it's all a scam. I've bought a lot of high-res stuff. I mean,
and you can't. Well,
yeah, I mean,
neither
because
you
of the
nor I
Nyquist
can hear
theorem.
anywhere near 20 kilohertz.
But even if you could, 40 kilohertz would be enough to represent 20 kilohertz.
Right, and that's what CDs are, 44.1 kilohertz sampling.
Right.
So they can get to 20 kilohertz no problem.
Right. Thanks, Scott. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches. No printers, please. Printers, I'll talk about printers. Whatever's on your mind, whatever technology's given you the heebie-jeebies. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number. 888-827-5536. That's toll-free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Outside that area, you can still reach me. 8888 Ask Leo. Just use Skype to call it. 8888 Ask Leo. Back to the phones we go. Laurel on the line from Irvine, California. Hi, Laurel.
Hello, Leo. It's great to talk to you, and I have a question about the new iPhone 12 Pro Max.
Okay. I'm looking at one right now, so if I can't answer it, I'll ask Siri.
Okay. I am a long-time Samsung user.
Okay.
My family finally convinced me.
They're pushing you to switch.
Oh, my gosh.
They say, we don't want any green bubbles in our group messages anymore.
Exactly, And so, they gave me an iPad.
Wow, they really are pushing. They're giving you stuff.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I finally bit the bullet and got the iPhone Pro Max. And I'm having two problems. One is I can't seem to, I love my ringtone on my Samsung that I've had for a long time, and I can't seem to transfer it to the iPhone. I can get it in GarageBand, but I can't go past that.
That's a good start, because GarageBand will save out as ringtones. So Apple's ringtones on the iPhone are recorded. They're really just AAC files. That's the, probably, I don't know what Samsung was using, but it's probably more like MP3s. So GarageBand can convert it into the AAC file format that you need, and then it needs to store it as something called an Is an MPR? What is it? It's geez, I have a whole video on how to do this, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's on our hands-on iOS show, or it was actually on the hands-on Mac show. Come to think of it, not the. But A4R, I think, is what they call these ringtones. So M4R. There we go. M4R. So. You will have, if you export out from GarageBand, you will have the option to export it as a ringtone. But even if you export it as an AAC, it would come out as an M4A file. That's their AAC file. And all you have to do is rename it M4R. It's the same file format. So that's the first thing to understand is that the iPhone's ringtones are actually AAC files with the extension M4R. There's no other switch to that. The problem, and so you're probably already getting there, right? You've already got that done, right?
Right. I don't know. I've got it in GarageBand. That's all I know.
Okay, so export from GarageBand into ringtone format. And then the reason this is hard, it used to be the way we used to update our iPhones was connect it with a USB cable to our computer. But nobody does that anymore. In the old days, it was very easy because when you did that, GarageBand on the iPhone would see the files on the Mac and say, oh, yeah, I'll take that, and that way you'd be done. But now it's a little bit more complicated for iOS. I still think GarageBand is the best free solution. Let me think if there's another way you can do this. You're on a Mac, I take it, right? Is that right?
Actually, I just have an iPad.
Oh, so you have? Or I'm sorry, iPad's fine. Oh, that's fine. So you use GarageBand on your iPad.
Okay.
Okay. Good. Oh yeah, you're real close now.
Okay.
Yeah. So AirDrop. Do you know what about AirDrop?
Kind of.
So this is actually something Android's been trying to copy, and they just recently added this. Google just recently added this to Android. AirDrop allows you to send files very easily from your iPad to your phone, and vice versa. You need to be on the same Wi-Fi network, and you need to be turn on AirDrop on both the iPhone and the iPad. It's on by default, but just in case, you can look in settings to make sure. And then once you've got your ringtone opened in GarageBand, you look for the share button. And the share button will give you, as its very first option, AirDrop, which allows you to transfer the file over to your iPhone from your GarageBand. So so at that point, now it's on the iPhone, and I think it should just show up because the iPhone goes, oh, I know where to put that. You might have to move it somewhere else. I'm just going to check real quickly. I'm doing this all from memory, and I haven't done this in a while. So it's in the GarageBand, but it's muted, or well, first you want to make sure it's sounding like you want it to in the GarageBand, and you can shorten it and so forth. And then once you do that, you can export it from GarageBand as a ringtone. And here's the best thing: once you AirDrop it, actually you don't even have to export it yet. AirDrop it over to the GarageBand on your iPhone. Then you can, when you share it on the iPhone. Use that share sheet. You know about that? One of the buttons on there will be ringtone. And,
okay.
Yeah. And then it'll say use sound as, and then you can choose whether to use it as a ringtone, a text tone, whether you want to have it for a contact. You can do anything you want with it at that point. It'll show up in your ringtones.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I made that a little more complicated than it needs to be. Mainly the short form of what I just hummed and hawed through is get it over to your iPhone, AirDrop it to your iPhone. Once it's in GarageBand in the iPhone, use the share button to share it as a ringtone, and you're done.
Perfect. And one more question.
Yes.
Is there a car charger for the iPhone?
Yes.
Oh, there is?
Yeah.
I mean, I can't seem to find one.
So the iPhone you got, Apple's confused matters because the iPhone you got still has a lightning port on the bottom, but on the other end of that cable they gave you is a Type-C connector. So you can buy, they're a little harder to find, car chargers, cigarette lighter chargers that have a Type-C connector on them. You can find those. They sell them on Amazon and elsewhere. Otherwise, you can take the one you've already got, which has a square Type-A USB port on it, right? That doesn't work with the cable Apple gave you. But you can, Apple and everybody else sells Type-A to Lightning charging cables. So this is another area where we've got this kind of Tower of Babel, but they're different connectors. On one end of the cable you got with the iPhone is Lightning. That goes in your iPhone. The other end is that oval thing. It's called Type-C. Either get a Type-C charger for your car. Some cars are now starting. My new car has a Type-C charger, which is wonderful. Just plug it in. But if your car doesn't, do you use a cigarette lighter charger? Is that how you do it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I thought I got one that had that, and it doesn't seem to charge the phone.
Oh, interesting. Well, that might be some other issue.
Okay.
Not sure. That's interesting, huh? Why would that be? This is what I started the hour talking about, is Type-C. It ain't what you think it is. So did you get one that had a wire coming out of the cigarette lighter? Or it just has a cigarette lighter with a Type-C hole?
Just has a
Type-C hole.
Cigarette lighter with a Type-C hole.
Yeah, I wonder why that doesn't work with the cable Apple gave you. Let me think about that. It might not do. I don't know if the Apple cable needs what's called PD, power delivery. That's a Type-C standard. Again, we're getting back to this problem that it looks like something, but doesn't tell you what it does. It may mean that you need a Type-C charger with PD capability. I would look for a Type-C car charger that works with iPhone. Usually they'll say that if it works with iPhone.
I thought I got one. But,
yeah. Well, they do make some with power delivery. I see one on Amazon for $16. So
okay, perfect. Well, it started out, my iPhone experience did not start out well because I didn't get the approved charger for an additional.
You see the problem here? You see the problem?
$30.
Yeah.
Here, this phone is over $1,000.
It didn't come with a charger.
It didn't come with a charger.
Because Apple says, oh, by now everyone has one of those. But you don't.
Right. I know.
You could use your iPad charger, but I know. This is terrible. It's terrible.
I just kept, it's like, this is why I didn't go to, Apple. They're like the evil company.
Well, it's this, you know what? It's a new ecosystem. And so you have to kind of, get all new stuff to go with a new ecosystem. It's like you were working for King Arthur. Now you want to go work for Guinevere. You got to get all new armor. You got to get new banners. You can't, it's all different, but essentially it's the same. It's just, it's their ecosystem now.
Right.
So
right. Well,
I would generally, when you are working with iPhones or iPads or anything Apple, you want to look for, they call it MFI, made for iPhone. You want to look for MFI certified stuff. They pay Apple a little vig to put that on there, and Apple tests it to make sure it works. That's almost always the best advice.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Well, that helps.
Yeah.
Okay.
See,
thank you so much.
My pleasure. I'm sorry this is so painful, but once you get, 6 months from now, you'll say, oh, yeah, it's fine. Everything's good. There's this the adjustment period. That's the problem.
That's exactly it.
Yep.
Okay.
Welcome to the court of Guinevere. It's nice to have you. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8880. It's literally that silly. I mean, it's not that it's one thing better than the other. It's just different. And so you got all new armor. Oh man, have you seen the price of armor lately? It's so expensive. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888. Ask Leo. Nolan in Los Angeles. Hello, Nolan.
Hey, Leo. How you doing?
I am great. How are you?
All right. So I have to admit, I have alternative motives for my question.
Okay.
So my question is about VPNs.
All right.
I understand that, they won't let someone know your IP address and what you do on the computer is confidential. But my question is two-part. One is, can I live in, say, Los Angeles, but have people think my computer is based in, say, Dallas, Texas, for example?
Yes.
And then if two is the employer type question.
Okay.
And if will the employer assume I live in, using this example, Dallas, Texas, based upon my computer work?
Oh, you want to trick your employer into thinking you're in town.
Exactly.
Or out of town, depending on your need.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So let me explain a little bit because you use this term VPN, and I'm sure some people have heard what it is, but some people don't. So let me explain what's going on here. It really actually started with work and people working from home or working from the road. It was very often that you would want to get on the computer at work, especially get on the company network. So I'll give you an example. We used to have do this with our call screeners, because our call screener would be in one place, and then she would need to VPN into the network at the studio so that she could be on the network at the studio and communicate with us over the network. We've actually simplified that process, but we used a VPN to do that. In the old days, this was a corporate thing, and you'd have a piece of software from Cisco or somebody like that running on your computer, and they'd have a server at work, and that's how it worked. And that's how this was invented. And the whole idea of the VPN was it was secure. You could securely access a company's network from outside that network. And it was secure because it was encrypted, and they had all sorts of security built in. Because for obvious reasons, a company doesn't want just anybody logging into their network from the outside world. So that's why VPNs were first created. But somebody noticed something. It's secure. And if, for instance, you're at a coffee shop and you're surfing the net, it would be more secure to log into your company's network from the coffee shop using a VPN and then surfing the net. Nobody in the coffee shop would know what you're doing, because even if they could see your traffic, and on Wi-Fi they can, it's just going through the air, all they'd see was encrypted gobbledygook. So, and then they realized, and hey, even though I'm at the coffee shop, because I'm using the VPN to connect to my company, and then going from the company's computer network to the outside world to surf the net, it looks like to all of those places I'm at the company, not at the coffee shop. They don't see me at the coffee shop. They see me at my office. And then a whole consumer business was born, because people thought that would be kind of cool to just offer it. You can do it yourself if you want. VPNs have a client and a server. The client is what you run on your laptop. The server is running on a computer somewhere in the world. The VPN logs you in from your laptop to that server in an encrypted tunnel so that no one can see what you're doing. And then you go from that server to the outside world. It used to be at work. Now it can be a private company. Or it can even be yourself. Lots of people run their own VPNs out of the house. So, but let's assume that that's not going to solve your problem about appearing in Dallas, because your house is your house. But if you go to a VPN provider who has servers in Dallas, and you set it up on your computer at home in Pennsylvania, and you log into that computer in Dallas and then out into the outside world, you have the IP address of that computer in Dallas, and generally IP addresses can be geolocated, and if somebody took the time to do that, they'd say, oh, he's in Dallas. There's a couple of catches here. First of all, VPN providers use a pool of IP addresses that they own. And in many cases, that IP address is identifiable as a VPN. So your boss may say, well, Nolan looks like he's in Dallas, but I can tell he's on a VPN, so we don't know where he is. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Johnny Jet coming up. That was a long way around to say, yes, you could pretend you're in Dallas, but it isn't foolproof. And if the boss is sophisticated enough to check, he might be able to see that you're on a VPN.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I gave you a lot of extra information.
No. Actually, you gave me that extra information, helped me think it through.
Yeah, now you understand, right? And the only fly in that ointment is, you'll have an IP address in wherever the VPN server is. So most companies that do VPN have many, many servers for that very reason. Two reasons. One, the server's fastest when it's closest to you. So generally, for speed, you'll use the server that's nearest to you. But it also gives you opportunity to appear somewhere else. And people use that to get on. I'll give you an example. People like to watch BBC shows, but in the way the BBC works, it's only available to people in the UK who pay license fees. So if you use your VPN to be in London, they'll think, oh, they're in London. I guess they can watch the BBC, except the BBC plays this cat and mouse game because they know people are trying to do that. So they do check the IP addresses, and they will block it if it's a known VPN IP address. So it will sort of work. It won't always work.
Got it. Thank you for your time.
My pleasure. I'm glad I could over-explain that for you.
No, it's perfect.
All right, take care, Nolan. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Ulterior motive, huh? Yeah. So it's complicated. What'd you say, Johnny? What'd you say?
I said I've been there.
Have you been to Winnemucca? That's the question. He's been everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Johnny Jet, JohnnyJet.com, our traveling guy. Hey, Johnny.
I'm back, baby.
I'm back. First flight on Avelo. Okay, this is that new low-cost airline out of Burbank, right?
Yeah, my boarding pass. I just did it. On
Where'd you
Wednesday,
go?
It was the very first flight. It was an inaugural flight. It was went back. I haven't flown in 342 days.
Wow!
Which is obviously by far the longest I've ever gone.
Wow!
Actually, 432 days. Sorry. But I had the entry anxiety. I got to tell you, I really did. But I feel much better. The short flight up to Sonoma.
FAA says you got to wear a mask.
Totally.
And you did.
Pretty much everyone on the plane was wearing a mask. I would say 99%. You know, obviously when people are eating, they're not. But I felt comfortable because I knew a lot of the people on the plane. And, you know, the first thing everyone
wait a minute. This was the special ride with you, the points guy, all the travel bloggers, right?
They had a lot of bloggers on it. It was open to the public.
Oh.
But that's what's so special about these inaugural flights. So anyone can go on them, but they always do have like a media section. That's why you want to go, because you can take pictures of everything. You can never take pictures of a flight attendant doing the safety demonstration except on an inaugural flight.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. They forbid you to do that?
It would be weird, but here everyone has their cameras out. I mean, they're recording everything. They're doing toast. People are clapping on pushback, takeoff, landing. And they're special flights. And there was actually a lot of aviation geeks that were not invited. They just buy the tickets and they go. Whenever there's an inaugural flight, they go. And they have a big party at the gate. And then when you land, and we went to Sonoma, it's a 55-minute flight for Burbank. It was my first time flying into Burbank and first time flying into Santa Rosa. And I got to tell you, I loved both of them. And in Sonoma, we went to the J Winery for lunch and then flew back.
Oh, how fun. I've been to the J Winery. Nice.
Yeah, I mean.
In fact, I know them. So,
do you?
Yeah, well, because we're up, we're all in Sonoma. You should have said hello.
When I landed, actually, the person who runs the Santa Rosa airport came up to me.
And knew you.
Well, I had never met him. They said, I'm a big fan of yours because of Leo Laporte. I watch Leo Laporte every week.
I got friends up there at the Santa Rosa airport. They love me up there.
They do love you. I mean, this guy was like, a big fan of yours, and I was.
That's nice. He recognized you and everything. That's great.
Yeah, with a mask on.
Wow.
So, but obviously, he had a list of all the media that was invited.
Yeah, he said, I see Johnny Jet. Let me find him.
That helps. But the reason why I mentioned Avelo Airlines is because their fares are $19 one way starting. So unless they start selling up a lot of seats, then those fares go up. But they're not a lot. What I like about them is that they charge only $10 to check a bag.
So this is important. This is it's like Spirit. It's one of the low-cost airlines.
Yep.
And you get the ticket for $19, but everything else is extra, basically.
But actually, the founder and the CEO was a CEO of Allegiant, which is the other low fare carrier.
Andrew Levy. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So, do you know Andrew?
No.
Okay.
I'm reading your blog post.
Okay. I was like,
pretending to sound smart. Yeah.
But anyway, so a checked baggage is only $10, but a carry-on to use the overhead bin is $35. So that's how they're going to try and turn these planes around because it costs them money when they're on the ground.
That's got to be the profit, right? They're not making money on $19 a ticket.
You can't with the ticket. The ticket is actually $4. The rest is taxes and fees.
Wow. So basically,
it's not sustainable.
The flight is free. We're going to charge you to check your bag.
But they fly to 11 destinations. They're rolling them all out right now. Bozeman, Montana, which is one of the hottest destinations of the summer because of COVID. But
is it all from Burbank to those places?
Yes.
Okay.
But their head office is going to be in Houston, so they don't even fly out of Houston. But I was like, come on, you guys got to be expanding. They wouldn't tell me, but I'm predicting they're flying to Houston.
And how was it? I mean, is it, when I flew on Spirit, the seat pitch, the distance between seats was so small, my knee was hit, and I'm not a tall guy, was hitting the seat in front of me.
It's the same seat pitch as Spirit, 29 inches. But that's on 129 of the 189 seats. So 60 of them actually have between 35 and 38 inches, 39 inches.
Twice as much.
So definitely, and they don't charge much more to sit in those, the bigger seats. And I actually sat in one of the 29-inch pitch seats. So
how were your knees?
They're fine, but the person in front of me did not recline, and I had no one sitting next to me.
Right, and it's a short flight, right? It's not
55 minutes. So listen, there's no Wi-Fi, there's no power ports.
There's nothing.
So you got to be prepared.
How old is the plane?
They're 15 years old. They're 737-800s.
But the 737s are the workhorse of the sky. They 15 years is young in a 737's life.
It is.
Yeah.
I felt safe on that. I was really more worried about COVID when I first started, and then that went away. I mean,
they don't have a frequent flyer program.
They do not have a frequent flyer program. Another negative, but
there's no in-flight entertainment at all. But these days, that just bring your iPad or your phone and listen to music, whatever. I don't think that's a problem. I rarely use the in-flight entertainment anymore.
Agreed. And listen, they're short destinations. So, and also a new carrier is going to be coming out. They're going to be announcing sales soon, so you can jump on those too. That's Breeze Airways, same founder as JetBlue. He left JetBlue, opened up an airline in Brazil, Azul Blue, and they're about to launch this. So you can jump on that. And I hope to be on that inaugural flight. And that'll be East Coast, mostly all East Coast.
So what's the deal? Why are we seeing these low-cost airlines? They're not making money on the ticket, but they figured it out that they can make enough money on extras. Is that it?
Well, COVID actually helped both these airlines, although they both were planning on launching way before COVID.
Yeah.
But the reason why is because they're not targeting business travelers. And business travel is just...
Yeah, if the boss is paying for it, you're going to go on a nice flight, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
So they're going after leisure travelers, and they're hoping to get these ancillary fees. But
boy, I'd love to see the spreadsheet where they figure out how they make money.
You can't make money with these low fares, so they're hoping to make money later down the road.
So the fares will go up?
They'll definitely go up at one point. And also, the fares start at $19. So if they sell, let's say, I don't know if they sell 30 tickets, those seats are definitely going to start going, the tickets are going to start going up.
Right.
So from $19, it's going to be $49. And I looked, there was flights for like $79. So they're going to slowly go up every time people buy tickets. They go in buckets.
And I guess it comes down to, people aren't going to, it's not a bucket of bolts flying in the sky. The FAA regulations and so forth make sure that you're safe up there, right?
I actually did not use hand sanitizer when I got on the plane because I was like, this is the first flight. Usually, before the pandemic, I would wipe down everything.
I'm talking about the plane falling out of the sky, not you getting.
I know that, but I'm saying that, believe me,
They're
the last
fresh.
thing they want is a plane to fall from the sky because then
never
they're
happens.
Done.
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
done.
yeah. No, that's not going to happen. So really, you're saving on amenities, and they hope that you will buy up. You know, $35 for carry-on. A lot of people, especially for that flight, would have carry-on.
But they want you to check it. $10 to check it.
Right. It does speed up.
That's where so people are going to check the bag. That way they can board and deplane quickly. And that's what you want during COVID. And so with these low fare carriers, you normally want to buy the tickets as far in advance as possible. For the major carriers like United and American and Delta, you don't want to book so far in advance.
Right.
They'll start lowering the prices once they see
they get cheaper as the flight date gets closer. If they haven't sold those seats, they're going to know they'll lose them.
If those seats are open, they'll go down in price.
Very interesting.
So
very
but
interesting.
the big news this week is that
you're out of time, so we don't get to hear big news. Next time, Johnny, plan your time better. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, on JohnnyJet.com. But the big news is we got 8 seconds left. What do you mean the big news is?
I didn't even see the 8 seconds.
What's the big? Where would I show? You can't. I don't. What was the big news? The European Union is letting us in?
Yeah.
Boy, your bandwidth is terrible. Are you on Zoom?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's awful.
I'm sorry.
Is somebody you're on Wi-Fi, aren't you? We never did get you on wired.
What? I think my son was messing with my router down here.
Not good. Not good at all.
Did it just get bad now?
No, the whole show. Whole segment.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. It's a bandwidth issue.
Fix that.
Don't know what it is.
Let me do it.
You have a router down there? Why don't you have a wire?
I need to get a wire.
Please do. Make a big difference.
Let me make a note right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to get someone to come.
And then if you can, keep the fam off. What's your bandwidth? Do you have 100 megabits down?
I'm going to look right now, but usually it's good. I'm doing my test on my network check right now. So apologize.
No, it's okay.
But anyway, the big news was that the European Union is allowing fully vaccinated Americans this summer. They didn't announce a date yet.
Yes.
But I still think most people are going to stay closer to.
Oh yeah,
home.
we're not going to Europe for a while. We are going to Mexico in September. I'm a little crossing my fingers.
And the other big news I was going to mention is that the CDC looks like they're going to loosen up the restrictions for the sailing, the boats, the cruises. They're going to be able to go to the U.S. ports in July. Which
you were skeptical about my January cruise. You thought maybe Asia wouldn't let us in. Still remains to be seen, but.
Well, Thailand actually just increased their quarantine. It went from 7 days to 14. So it all depends on their vaccinations.
That's because of India, though, I'm sure. Don't you think?
Yeah. But a Japanese luxury cruise ship, by the way, just had a COVID case, so they're going back to port. So that's not a good sign.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888. Ask Leo the phone number. Manny from Mankato, Minnesota. Is that how you say that? Mankato?
Mankato, yeah.
Mankato, yeah.
Taking my call there, Leo.
Hi, Manny.
First of all, I want to give kudos to two of your sponsors there. First one being LastPass. I finally took the plunge, and I'm pretty happy with the service they're providing.
A password manager is vital. Everybody should be using them. No one can remember all the passwords we have to remember these days, which means if you're not using a password manager, you're using the same password over and over. That's a recipe for disaster. So.
Oh yeah,
good,
yeah.
Good.
So I'm using that for with all my accounts.
Good man.
Also, I want to thank you also for ExpressVPN.
Good.
And the reason I'm saying is because I have two other VPNs, and I figure, well, let me try ExpressVPN because I'm sure you're familiar with grc.com. Shields Up, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So I tested all my ports. and I got a solid green, no reverse DNS.
That's important. Good.
Yeah, and I was I was tickled pink. I'm like, oh snap, this is fantastic. This is better than the other two. So I want to thank you for that. Now, with so many VPNs out there on the market, okay, Firefox, they came out with their own VPN.
They did.
Rather, Molvat, I think it's called.
Yeah, so Molvat has been around for years. It's like ExpressVPN. It's an independent VPN provider. So Firefox is just using their service. It's not a Firefox service. It's Molvat.
Right.
Yeah.
I was just curious what your opinion was because, like I said, it's good to know about all these VPNs, especially with my line of work or going coast to coast and border to border as a truck driver. I like to know that, make sure that my system is, well secured. So I'm just curious to know.
I like it that Firefox is offering it. How much do they charge?
$4.99 a month, I believe. Yeah, $4.99 a month. I don't know what it is a year, but
so Molvat is €5 a month, which is almost 50% more. So they interesting. And they must have made a deal. Maybe Molvat thought, oh, this is a great way to get customers in, or maybe they're cutting some corners, and that's the question I would ask. How does the speed relate to ExpressVPN?
I don't know yet. I haven't.
I would try it. It's a Swedish company. They have good, strong privacy laws in Sweden. I think the fact that Firefox, which is a good open source project, Mozilla.
Yes, it is.
I trust them, so I'm sure it's a good VPN. And I'm sure that's why Molvat's given them a cut or a break because, this is good advertising for Molvat. Yeah, but I think Firefox is probably taking $1 or $2 of that, $5, and so I'm just wondering what the difference is between paying Molvat directly for more. It's €5 a month, so I'd have to do the math on that, but that's more than what you're paying. So I'm not sure what you're getting. So good. I'd like to know. Maybe it's a little slower. Maybe I don't know. I'd like to know. You always have to be careful with.
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, I think they're using WireGuard, which is a very good new VPN protocol. It's actually built into Linux these days, and so that's also a good thing. The reason I mention all this is you have to be careful when choosing a VPN. There's all kinds of VPN providers. Some of them, especially the free ones, are a little more sketch than the paying ones. I think Molvat's probably very fine. I just wonder why the pricing difference.
Yeah, according to the webpage here, that's what it says. It says US $4.99 a month.
Yeah.
Probably cheaper if you buy it on a yearly basis.
Yeah, actually, Molvat does not offer a yearly price.
Oh, it doesn't?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. It's interesting. Maybe Molvat's just glad to get extra business. But, yeah. So that certainly they can expect a lot more customers going through Firefox. That's such a widely used web browser. Any VPN, but you see, it's not quite the same. So I said any password manager is going to be better than no password manager. And as long as you use one of the well-known companies, that's true. Not the same for VPN. There's a big difference between VPN providers. You want one that doesn't log what you're doing. You want one that's investing in its own network so that they have decent speed and servers near you, that kind of thing. You want, and they're not up to shenanigans like, there are VPNs that will inject ads into your traffic. You don't want that. So I think Molvat's fine. I think if Firefox is using it, it's fine. ExpressVPN I know is fine because I've checked them out. And there's some big names. But you did the right thing, by the way, checking the GRC DNS tool, because that tells you if it's leaking your IP address. This was a problem with a number of VPNs, that people thought their IP address was hidden, their internet address was hidden, and it wasn't. It was leaking. So he put that test in, and I think that's a good thing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot, Leo.
Hey, it's nice to talk to you. Thanks, Manny.
Yep.
Have a great day. I always like it when people use our sponsors, but also I'm open to talking about anything. That's my job. I don't want you to think that somebody sponsoring the show gives them, special treatment of any kind. If Molvad's good, you use it. Absolutely. Russ from Orlando, Florida. Hi, Russ.
Hey, I have a quick question about the new Apple AirTags and the ultra-wideband chip in the new iPhones.
Yes.
I had a question. Does it operate like Bluetooth beaconing, and does it send out a beacon every so often?
Oh, that's a really good question. I am ashamed of myself that I never really looked into how UWB works. I think it's like radar. It's a radio technology, very low energy level for short range, high bandwidth communications over a large portion of the radio spectrum. So it is not exactly like Bluetooth beaconing. It is really much more precise, and so the bandwidth is more than 500 megahertz. That also is a benefit because unlike Bluetooth, interference isn't going to be an issue. It can go around corners. It doesn't interfere with any of the other radio transmissions, and it has a very high data rate capability. So I think UWB used to be something called pulse radio, but this is something new for Apple anyway. It's in a lot of their devices, and it's in these AirTags. I've been waiting for them to use this in some way. Yeah, Apple was all in on beaconing earlier. That's Bluetooth LE, low energy Bluetooth. So it is a completely different system. UWB does pulses, get ready, 1.3 billion pulses a second of radio information, which means it carries 675 megabits. So it's very fast. It's fast enough to be used like radar, in effect, which is kind of what's happening. When you aim your phone at the AirTag, it knows. It gives you an arrow, says the AirTag's over here, left, 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 right, right, right. Pretty amazing.
Is there a way to turn it off or disable it or opt out of it?
Very interesting question. I don't remember any settings that let you turn UWB off. I'm going to have to research on that one. That's a very interesting question. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. That's an interesting question. You would think Apple would let you disable that, right?
Yeah, I was just kind of curious. A long-time tile user, wasn't exactly happy with Apple, kind of just budget in and copying tile. So I was just kind of curious. So
yeah. I mean, you can. Okay, here you go. You ready?
Yep.
In the privacy settings, if you go to location services, there's a system services menu, and the networking and wireless services include UWB. So it says, turn off location for networking and wireless for Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and ultra-wideband performance. So if you didn't want to be tracked, for instance, with an AirTag, that's a really good, thank you for asking that. That's a really good thing to know. So here is a way to disable it. Good for Apple.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, take care. Yeah, good for Apple. Glad they did that. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches, all that jazz. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number. 888-827-5536. Toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. I was talking last hour about how the tech industry has failed us. In minor ways, but it's still significant. I was talking about the Thunderbolt USB Type-C issue. And it came up for me this week because it's really on my mind because I tore my hair out for hours trying to get my wife's monitor to work. It was a Dell monitor with a Type-C connector. She has an iMac Pro. I gave her a new computer, a hand-me-down, but she got my iMac Pro. Pretty nice computer, and it has Thunderbolt Type-C connectors. But the Dell monitor doesn't accept Thunderbolt Thunderbolt. No, it's a USB Type-C. Looks the same as Thunderbolt. And it turns out I needed this very special cable, a USB 3.1 monitor cable, because I had plenty of Thunderbolt cables, but none of them would work. I went through all my Type-C cables trying to find one that worked. I found one, but it was only one. So our IT guy said, no, Leo, I know what it needs. And he ordered me some. Guess what he ordered? He got the Thunderbolt cables. So if our IT guy, who is, by the way, the best IT guy in the world, he is so good, if even he was confused by this, see, this won't work. If even he was confused by this, I don't know how normal people are supposed to survive in this world. I just don't. Just don't. 8888 asked Leo. So I say that just by way of saying you have my deepest sympathy, and I'm here for you, and we're gonna do it together, because the industry is just designed to baffle and befuddle and bamboozle, and we're just gonna have to stick together. We're just gonna have to stick together and do it. My dear friend from Montenegro, Vidak, is on the line. Are you in Montenegro?
Yes, I am. Hello, Leo.
Oh, you went home, huh?
Yes, I did.
We miss you.
About 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Vidak came to visit me, gave me some Montenegro. In fact, let me go get my Montenegrin hat while you ask your question. You're in, what is it, Boca Bay?
Yes, it's the Boca Kotorska Bay.
Beautiful.
I just shortened it for the sake of easy pronunciation.
Old timers like me go, what's Montenegro? It was part of the old Yugoslavia, right?
That's correct. Yes, it was one of 6 states, which are now separate countries, but they together used to form the Republic of Yugoslavia.
And Yugoslavia, it's my understanding, was kind of made up. It was these 6 states have traditionally been independent, and Yugoslavia just kind of lumped them all together. Is that right?
Croatia, Serbia, and Slovenia were actually a
one unit.
One unit.
Yeah.
At various points in history.
Okay.
But then the rest, the remaining states were added afterwards.
It's crazy. What can I do for you, Vidak?
So I have a bit of a headache.
Sorry.
That's okay. I work for a local radio station in town, which has recently changed owners, and they're literally like starting from scratch. And I got the job. Actually, I got the job of 2 titles. I'm pretty much the musical director and the director of production.
Well, congratulations, I guess.
Thank you.
Those are good jobs in radio. Music director, production director, that's good stuff. But I hear a but coming.
Yes, but the way the radio station worked previously is the musical library is complete. It's a jungle. There is every imaginable genre you can think of.
Are they on records? What are they stored on?
No, they're MP3s, and
well, at least they're digital. What a relief!
But the library goes back as far as the 90s, when the CD to MP3 conversion boom was happening.
Right.
And whoever ripped those CDs into MP3s didn't
do their job. Yeah.
So I have now a huge chunk of the library, which our automation system doesn't know what to do with.
What is this?
It doesn't have any metadata.
So you need brains.
Yes, I do.
Specifically, music brains with a Z.
Okay, Music Brains with a Z.
Yeah, musicbrains.org. It's open source. It's based on, remember you might not be old enough to remember CDDB? Way back when. Yeah, it was kind of like IMDb. They were created by end users in the early days of the internet as a crowd project to basically create a database of all known CDs and with all the metadata. And it's now FreeDB. FreeDB.org. It's an open version of CDDB because CDDB got bought by Gracenote and restricted access. So there's an open source, which same thing happened to IMDb, and it's very frustrating because these were, many volunteers donated time to create these databases, presuming they'd always be available to everyone. And then these companies bought them and took them private. So FreeDB is now what CDDB used to be, freedb.org. And there are actually, it's open, so there are many programs that take advantage of it, but I like Music Brains. But you can look around. What you're really going to want to look for is a FreeDB music sorting program. Music Brains is one of them. What it does is it'll open those MP3s. It'll try, now it can't always do this, usually it's based on length and other information. If it has like a title or anything, it'll try to get whatever information it can get, and it'll try to figure out what it is. Sometimes it'll say, well, it's either this album or this album, and you'll have to say. But once you get the album, all the tracks on the album are of different lengths. It's pretty easy to figure out which track is which. It'll add track information, album information, artist information, year, genre. It is a way to, at least it'll get you 90% of the way to doing what you need to do.
All right. Well, that sounds good. Have you ever, somebody recommended to me a software called Music Tag? I think it's the same thing as...
Same idea, probably, yeah. In the old days, there used to be a lot of these with CDDB. But and there's a... was it Music Monkey? Ape, the big ape? I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there are a number of programs that'll do this, but my experience with Brains is pretty good, and I like open source, and it's really kind of designed to work with FreeDB. So I would take a look at that.
Whatever metadata I save to the songs will be stuck to the songs. So whichever...
Yeah, it'll give you so it can overwrite that, but it'll let you know what it's up to. A lot of these songs, I know I had the same problem. I downloaded a lot of music. Remember Napster back in the day where you could get free music? So a lot of those songs, I just downloaded them, and the only metadata was the title, right? It'd say, Take Me to the River, Talking Heads. The good news is that CDDB and now FreeDB would look that up. They'd say, oh, yeah. Is it the right length? Yeah, it's the right length. Okay, it would be part of this album. This is the metadata. It would fill in the rest of it. So whatever data it can get, usually the title is all you've got. But the title and length are the two pieces of information you've got.
Do you have time for another question?
Let me look at the clock here. Yeah, real quick.
All right. Real quick, can you tell me what music automation system iHeart is using? I am trying to...
Professor Laura will know. It's not Prophet. Yeah. Prophet is one of the most popular. But what do we use, Laura? What's the name of the... Next Gen. It's Prophet, but better. Is it better, Laura? Tell us the truth. She doesn't even know what Prophet is. Well, Prophet's long gone then, I guess. Next Gen we use.
Okay.
But I bet you the first gen was Prophet. That'd be my guess. I know you're not watching video, but I am, in your honor, wearing my Montenegrin hat with the seal of the great state of Montenegro on it for you, Vidak. Vidak, great to talk to you. Sounds like you're doing well.
I'm trying to.
Do your best.
Doing my best.
Good. And you didn't get sick? You didn't get COVID?
No.
Good.
No, not yet.
Are you getting the shots in Montenegro yet?
We're just now starting mass vaccination, so I'll be getting mine in about a week or two.
Oh, it's a good feeling. Great to talk to you. Great to hear from you, Vidak. Congratulations on the job.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
My pleasure. Always good to talk to you. I'm actually glad to give them a little plug, Music Brains, because it's a lot of us have music collections that over time have kind of gotten out of control, grown like Topsy. Yeah. Now we can fix them. All right, Chris, you're still in there. Yes, you are. Hello, Chris. How are you?
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm in about 4 cups easy and 2 things of green tea, so I'm good.
Oh, man. Now, does green tea have caffeine, Chris?
It depends. Yeah, just maybe just like a little bit, but
Nothing like
it's
that
very low
coffee.
levels, Leo.
How much mushroom is in your coffee?
I think not enough. I think not enough. I think I need more.
Somebody said after you mentioned that you have that the coffee you drink and sell has mushrooms in it. Somebody said, "Oh yeah, it's got that." You said, "What kind is?" And they said, "Oh yeah, that's a really good one."
Shaga.
Shaga.
Yeah, Shaga is really
Shaga.
Shaga is very good. Yeah, it's expensive.
It doesn't
too,
taste like
in the coffee.
mushrooms.
No, it's actually like I said, the Sizzle Cafe coffee is the world's most expensive coffee. It comes from Panama, the Boquete region, and it's a very low caffeine coffee bean. So if you take that, and as you know, infrared cook foods. So if you infrared cook coffee, you're preserving the oils in the coffee bean versus other companies that roast that out, which is really dangerous.
I've never had infrared cooked coffee.
Well,
I've only had roasted coffee.
I'll send you some coffee.
Would you please, Chris? But I've been letting you plug this
send
thing
you some
on my
coffee.
shows for years. I've never charged you a penny. Send me some coffee. That seems reasonable. You don't have to send me a pound. Send me a little bit. It's good. I'll try it.
Well, here's the thing, though. I love this idea of being in here and having my opportunity on stage, which is sort of a cheat sheet for me. But I think this is great because I am now being billed $7 a month. It's not enough. I do want to. I do want to contribute, but I want to contribute in a way that makes sense. And I think that even if I dropped $1,000 in the kitty, I think that's appreciated to
Chris,
the TWiT network. But
don't do that. But I'll tell you what. Maybe we should get you on a coffee show.
That would be not bad. That would be a great idea.
You also sent me some videos. You told me, and I was very relieved never to use the bleached no root garlic because that's from China. It's been bleached to look white. And I was relieved. I immediately ran over to my garlic keeper, and they have roots, all of them. But I'm in California. We don't.
Yeah, I know you are.
We got Gilroy. We don't need to go to China for our garlic. It's growing right here. Then what was the other one you were saying? You sent me another video.
Well, there was actually a couple of different ones. I actually don't. I know there was the other one that I sent.
Other food stuffs to watch out for.
Well, yeah, this fella here is very good, though. Flav City on the YouTube channel. He really gets involved in turning the bottle and reading everything that's in there. I mean, all the oils in my house are organic and expeller pressed.
You gotta be careful.
Like avocado oil, olive oil from California.
Me too.
I don't.
Yep. Hey, I got to run. Thank you, Chris.
All right.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo. The phone number from Pittsburgh, Indiana. Jim's on the line. Hello, Jim.
Hey, Leo. Oh, my God. What a privilege to be here with you right now.
It is my privilege entirely. I am honored that you called.
If you don't know where Pittsburgh, Indiana is, it's where Jeff Gordon, number 24, was born.
Number 24 is from Pittsburgh. He made Pittsburgh. He put Pittsburgh on the map.
No, not really, because we're so small.
Did he race in Pittsburgh? Is there a racetrack?
No, the racetrack is IMS. And, of course, we have Lucas Oil Stadium. And
fun.
All Indiana racing, everything here.
It's fun. Fun.
Yeah. Oh, it's so great to talk to you. So the reason why I called, and let me say I'm sorry to everybody else who's been on hold longer than me.
No one. No, here's the good news. No one's been on hold longer than you.
Oh, good. Okay, great. Is that fantastic?
You win. You got the prize today.
So a couple things for me. I'm a novice. I love computers. I do things on my own every once in a while. I've gone from the Samsung 9 Note to the Pixel 4.
Yes, good move.
The Note 1. What do they call it? The Note. Not Note, the 1.
The One Plus.
One Plus.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out if you went from the Note 9 to the Note 1, that's moving backwards.
No.
But you mean the One Plus. Which One Plus did you get? Did you get the new 9 or what'd you get?
The 9.
9.
Which I'm happy with the camera part, but I really miss the Pixel camera.
Yeah, if there's one knock, I like OnePlus's phones. I think the newer phones, actually, camera quality's gone down a little bit, but there's nothing better than the Pixel. Google does some magic in the software. It's not the hardware, it's the software, and it really is good.
I will make. I have that T-Mobile every year. You can change over.
Oh, nice.
I will change back to the.
Well, you didn't miss anything with the 5, I think. I'm still on my Pixel 4 XL. I think the 5 was just, in fact, Google even said this year, Sundar Pichai, when they announced that they're going to have Google I/O after all, they're going to do it next month, and they're going to, that developers conference. And Sundar Pichai said, we kind of took last year off. He admitted it. Wow. And we're expecting big things this year, so stay tuned. So I think there will be a better Pixel than the 5. I think the 6 you're going to want to watch out for. That won't be till this fall, but I think you want to watch out for that.
4 was amazing. That's a good.
I think the 4 is. I'm still using it. Love it.
Yeah. So about an hour and a half ago, you talked about computers, and you should spend at least $1,200 for a computer.
I think so, yeah. Unless it's a Chromebook. But if you're buying a Windows or a Mac, you should spend, more than $1,000, yeah.
My wife and I, we live paycheck to paycheck. And
so
Indiana,
it's hard. Yeah.
So I kind of differ from what you said, because I bought a Dell refurbished for $150. I took the hard drive out. I put a standard state in there. And I seem to find that everything is online anyways when it comes to Office and Photoshop.
That's a good point. That's a good point. If you're using online cloud stuff, that's why you could get away with a less expensive computer with a Chromebook as well, because you're living on Google Drive.
Right. So
that is a good point. And it really does depend on what you're doing in processing. But... And a refurb, which you've done some upgrading to, that's different. And that's a smart way to be frugal, by the way.
My question is, can you do upgrading on a Chromebook?
No.
You can't.
I mean, I guess you might be able to. They're not designed to be upgraded. In fact, that's why I tell people to get Lenovo ThinkPads, because until very recently, now they're starting to do what Apple does, which is solder and glue things in. But until very recently, they were very, very upgradable. And if you are on a budget, I would look at a used ThinkPad, even a few years old, because you can replace the screen, the keyboard, the trackpad, the memory, the drive. They are kind of like PCs, tower PCs. They're almost completely upgradable. And I know a number of people who've taken, old used Lenovo ThinkPads and brought them up to spec. The only thing you can't replace, though, is the processor. So you want to get a decent processor.
That's one thing. And one of the things about the Chromebook, I bought an Acer Chromebook from Walmart for $180, probably less than that.
Less than you paid for the Dell, which is ironic.
Exactly. And with Zoom, it doesn't upgrade.
Yeah.
You're stuck with the old Zoom.
Yeah.
You're stuck with the old.
That's where you're going to start to see things. An older computer, Zoom, for instance, won't do interchangeable backgrounds. You know how they do project backgrounds behind you? They won't do that on older systems. They're spending a lot. That's particular to Zoom. They put a lot of effort into getting good audio and good video, and that's all CPU bound. And so there's some things they're just going to say, we can't do this on an older processor, or there's not enough memory.
I just want to say it's so good to talk to you. My dad spoke to you a couple of years ago, and it's my turn. He lives in Huntington Heights, California, which is, I guess you could say, where they filmed Back to the Future.
Oh, nice.
Over at the Plenty Hills Mall, and that's where I grew up. And I moved to Pittsburgh. And I still listen to you on iHeartRadio, and I don't miss your shows at all. I actually listen to Android, all about Android, too.
Oh, yeah, that's our podcast with Jason Howell and Ron Richards and Florence Hine. Oh, I'm glad you listened to that.
Awesome. You guys
Thank you, Jim. Thank you so much. And I'm glad you called, because I completely understand. Not everybody has $1,000 or more to spend on a computer. But what you found is a really good way to do this, which is start with a refurb, do some upgrades. If you're handy, as with anything, you don't have to buy a new car either. If you're handy, you can do a lot of things to make it better. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Yeah, during the Google earnings call, Sundar Pichai said some very interesting things. He said, Google has some good hardware in the pipeline. I can't begin to tell you how excited I am for the Pixel 6. And this is with Google Silicon, custom silicon inside. So that's very, very interesting. He said, our product releases are returning to a regular cadence. Particularly excited that our developer event, Google I/O, is back this year, all virtual, free for everyone. We will have, this is the important quote, we will have significant product updates and announcements. And I invite you all to tune in. UWB, maybe? Interesting, Scooter X. Interesting. So this is the Google I want to see. You know, I don't like this passive. Maybe Mr. Pichai took some of the criticism to heart. What are the things that make you go, I'm waiting. Is he going to tell us? Oh, he's going to wrap them. Things that make you go, Professor Laura, our musical director, going deep into the archives of our... how is our MP3 collection, Professor Laura? It's vast. Is it organized? Yes. Things that make you go, George on the line from Santa Monica, California. Hello, George.
Good afternoon, Leo. Being a past electric car driver,
yes.
I had a friend send me a report, and it says a $12 million mile battery. And I've been looking online to try to find it, and it might be what they call the quantum glass battery, but I'm not sure. So I was just wondering if you could ask your car guy tomorrow, Sam, about that, if he knows anything about it.
I have become skeptical because every month or two we hear about breakthroughs in battery technology. Remember the supercapacitors that were going to change everything, and we always hear about stuff. And when they put them in a car, then I'll believe it. But this $12 million mile, it probably won't be $12 million. I'm looking at a article from Auto Week. Million mile batteries, they're coming. Yeah, well, when? You know, well, tell me about it.
Well, the report says it's from a Tesla employee who's come up with a new innovation of a new type of battery.
Right.
And it says, well, I don't know if this is true or not. It says the trip can last 9,200 miles between charges.
Wow.
If that's the case, I'd definitely go out and buy an electric car right now.
Why did you give it up?
Well, it was a lease. So I decided not to drive for a while, waiting to see if the battery range could be improved.
Well, for sure that's going to happen. I mean, batteries are just chemistry, right? I mean, we started with lead acid, and then in the portable devices there was nickel cadmium, and then nickel metal hydride. And it's all just chemistry. The problem I have with the million-mile battery is it's Elon Musk saying it. And he is not always fully reliable. Let's put it that way. He's excited, and he likes to hype technology.
Right.
I'm skeptical.
If this thing was that well, if this is true, it would be on the news for sure.
Yeah, and even if it is on the news, there's still you can make something in a lab. The getting it into mass production is another matter. I completely believe that everybody and their brother is working on new, better battery technologies, not just for cars, but for everything. What's the one thing holding you back with a smartphone? It's a small device, small battery. We have to charge it every night. Wouldn't it be nice if you didn't? I'm sure people are, and you would sell a lot of them if you could come up with it. So I would guarantee you every big tech company, every little garage person, everybody who's, got any knowledge in this area is working on it. It isn't like, the speed of light or something. It's not a hard and fast, impenetrable barrier. I think it will be, we'll definitely get better batteries. It's easy to overhype these, and I've been through enough of these hype cycles now to be somewhat skeptical. And partly because you might have something, you might really have something, but you just can't produce it, or it uses a rare metal called unobtainium that no one has, or there's all sorts of little problems. You could put a nuclear reactor in a car to go forever, but that's probably not a good solution either. So I think that you may be waiting for a long time. Here's the good news. These batteries do last a really long time. It is pretty clear now that the Tesla's batteries are going to last at least 10 years, maybe longer. Yes. So, and they have ways to recycle them. Tesla's pioneered ways to recycle them. So I think that if the concern is battery life, I think that's probably not, you don't have to worry too much about it. If what you'd like is a fast, and this is the other thing people are working on, a faster charge. Right now, when I drive my Mustang up to the Electrify America charger, I might as well go have lunch and dinner because it's going to be an hour to fully charge it, even at these very high amperage, very high wattage fast DC chargers. And at home, it's overnight. So if you could get it as fast as, and that's what people thought supercapacitors might change. If you get as fast as it is at the gas station to fill up a car, man, that would be big. If you could get longer range, right now I can go about 250, 300 miles. Some Teslas maybe go a little more than 300 miles, but that's that's about it. If you could get a truck that would go coast to coast on batteries, that would be huge. So there is a lot of money in solving this problem, but it's a hard problem. So, I'm looking at an article about, they call it Mempilly's 12 million mile battery from a Tesla employee. This is a stock picker. Yeah. So I'm a little suspicious. The ad says the #1 stock for America's new energy revolution. If somebody's selling you stocks, be very skeptical.
Stay tuned to my photos coming up on Dickie D.
Oh, good, George. You do those. Caption contest photos. Yeah. His photos are there. Where do you find those?
I have a website that has non-copyrighted photos. I got millions of photos, so I just go in and select a subject and try to find a funny picture and just select them and put them on the air every week.
Where? What's the website? I didn't know about that. What's the website?
It's called Pixabay. Pixabay. Pixabay.
And they're all free. You don't have to royalty free.
Non-copyrighted, yeah.
Nice. Pixabay, Pixabay.com. Royalty free. Wow.
And you just put in a subject, and it'll bring up all kinds of pictures, and I just go through them and select the ones I think that the chat room would like, and just do that.
We play a fun little game with Dickie D after the radio show. He does a show called the GizFizz, and because he's the GizWiz. And one of the games that I always enjoy is the caption contest. George sends Dick a picture, usually a provocative picture, and the chat room, which is all a Twitter, types in their captions for it, and it's always a lot of fun. Well, good. I'll look forward to the picture this week.
6 every week I send them.
Pick 6? You send him 6, and he uses how many? All 6?
All 6, yeah.
Oh, nice. How fun.
It only takes about 10 minutes to go through them all, so it's very fast.
It's very fast and it's very fun. It's one of the Dick has all sorts of fun little things he does on the GizFizz, right, Dickie D? He say hi to George.
Hey, George, how you doing?
Dick's already here for his segment.
Talk to you soon.
Yes, I will. I will talk to you after radio.
Oh, fun.
Sure.
All right. Well, thank you two. Dickie D is coming up momentarily. There are the chat room's giving me some articles about this million-mile battery. There's one from the LA Times business section. It's too bad because I have a lot of respect for Elon. He's certainly changed the world in some really significant ways and is about to do more. And at the same time, sometimes he says things that are just stupid, boneheaded. I don't know exactly what's going on with him. I generally don't take him seriously when he tweets things like, "Wait till you see my 1,000,000-mile battery." Yeah, fine. Yeah, fine. The GizWiz coming up with his gadget of the day. This one will really work. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. It's a 1,000,000-mile battery. A 1,000,000-mile battery. A 1,000,000-mile battery. Doesn't go for 1,000,000 miles. It doesn't wear out for 1,000,000 miles, which is, of course, a lot longer than a car would be around. So the battery would outlast the car is the point. There's a Chinese manufacturing company, Contemporary Amperix Technology, that said last June. No, wait a minute. Yeah, June 2020, that they were ready to produce a battery that would last 16 years and 1.2 million miles. But that was almost a year ago. Have we seen it? No. Anyway. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Love to hear percussion. You know what else I love to hear? This guy right here, man. This guy, he is cool. He is wonderful. He is Dick DeBartolo, Mad Magazine's maddest writer for many a moon. He is now our GizWiz, our Gizmo Wizard. Every week he joins us with a gizmo or a gadget. What do you got this week, Dickie?
Leo, this is low tech and really cheap.
Sounds like the usual, in other words. Yeah?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So after Dennis and I got our second COVID shot, and a friend of ours, Lindy, was with us, we said, let's go to Staples and get them laminated.
Right.
Okay, and then
Which, by the way, health authorities are saying you should not do.
Exactly. I said, wait a minute. What about if they ever need a booster shot?
You got to have somewhere to write it.
I said, guys, listen, I'm going to go on Amazon and find something so that we can carry it around if we need to. But
because I carry mine in my wallet, but it's going to get kind of frayed and worn out. Yeah.
So I found two that are interesting. One is actually waterproof. So you put it in this little seal, and the company says that you can scan through it because it's clear enough that if you put anything in there that has to be scanned, you can leave it on and let it be scanned. But I'm thinking at the airport, if it's going to be required at some point, I like the one that's magnetic. So it has a little magnet right on the back of the folder, and then it comes with a separate, really powerful magnet. So if you're just wearing a T-shirt...
you could pin it to your T-shirt.
Exactly, especially...
Like Paddington the Bear. I've had my shots. Please return me to my mum.
There you go. There you go. So there are two different suggestions on the website. But, this I looked up and I wondered. I thought, I really wish I had a way to say I was vaccinated. So someone has to believe you because anybody can buy these, okay?
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I bought a pack of 20.
Oh, give them to all your friends. Yeah.
That's exactly right. Myra said she doesn't want to wear one, but everybody else said, can I have one of those? I said,
I would love these. They say I've been vaccinated for COVID-19.
Exactly. And then to support World Health Organization, there's a company doing vaccine, and they're a little more expensive, but half the money goes to the World Health Organization. So I bought a bunch of these. I bought everything. I bought 30 of these.
You only have one card, Dick.
I know.
Go to the doctor. Say I need 20 more cards for all of my holders.
Can I get 20? Yeah. Do you have vaccine for 20 people? Because I already have the card carriers for them, and I have the bracelets. But
I wore my sticker out, and eventually I put it on my laptop. But it's not.
I think it's great.
Yeah, but I'm going to get one of these wristbands. I think that's a good idea. I like this. I mean, it's not not legally binding in any way.
No, not at all, because anybody
could have one.
So Myra just grabbed one. She said, "Oh, well, if Leo's going to wear one, I'm going to." Get one.
I just think it's kind of nice. It looks like you have to buy them in 4-packs.
Yeah, 10 and 20.
10s and
20s. Right. The waterproof one, you have to
24
buy
pieces. What am I going to do with 24 I've been vaccinated wristbands?
Yeah, but it's so cheap.
They're
Just
$10.
give them to friends.
I'll hand them out like candy.
So what is it? It's like what, 80 cents each?
Yeah, they're nothing. Well, they shouldn't be. They're rubber bands.
No, exactly. Exactly.
Okay, but the other ones, they raise money for, that's from
for World Health. And they're like
VACCEN. Vaccine.
Yeah, and they're
$250.
$250 plus shipping unless you buy 10. So I bought 10 of those. I mean, stop by the house. Knock on the window. I'll throw them outside.
It'd be worth flying to New York just to get these cheap vaccine.
Either the magnetic or the waterproof with the clothes hanger. I got it all. I got it all here.
I think a lanyard around your neck when you fly, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Well, these have a lanyard opening. So if you already have a lanyard, there's a place for a cord one or a clip-on. And I want to keep my
Dick,
card safe.
I have about 500 old CES and Comdex badge holders. I could just use one of those, right?
There you go. Absolutely.
In fact, this one says press under it, which would even be better.
Oh, that's...
I've been vaccinated and I'm with the media. So be nice to me.
Yeah, exactly.
So there are links to all of these, and Dick makes a penny or two when you buy through his links. So do that. They're at
except for the one from the WHO organization.
Vaccine you don't get. Yeah. That is GizWiz.biz is the website. GizWiz.biz. While you're there, you can play. Go ahead.
The new game. It is May 1st.
Wait a minute. It's May? When did that
May. Happen? At midnight last night. Where were you?
Where was I? It's May. What happened to April 31st? We just skipped it?
30 days has September.
Oh,
April,
my.
June.
Oh, my. So that means at midnight last night, you revealed to all and sundry what that gadget was.
No one got
it?
No,
all
because I think it was the most deceptive photo I've taken.
Oh, my God. I would have never figured that.
No.
It was deceptive. It looked like a little electric motor.
Yeah, because I
Instead,
did an extreme close-up.
What is it? Looks like maybe it's a spray mist for your glasses?
No. It clips onto your eyeglasses, and then you can have an LED light any way you look.
It looks like it's spraying, but it's just light. Okay, good.
It's light.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it's on a little rotating.
That's cool.
Device.
So nobody got it, but that doesn't matter because you still give away autographed copies of Mad Magazine for people who are clever with the wrong answers, right?
Exactly.
They were playing for this one, Mad Predicts the Future, with Alfred E. Newman in one of those, wizard boxes. You put a quarter in. And look, there's Bill Gaines, and there's a magic 8-ball. Here's the very famous Mad Optical Illusion.
Yeah, the Poit.
What's that called?
The Mad Poit.
Poit.
Yeah, like Poiyt.
It's bringing back my memories from my childhood.
Oh, great!
Who's this?
And Dave. That is one of the original guys.
Yeah, these are because this was an old cover.
The light side.
Nice. Nobody remembers him either, so it's okay. And he's squeezing that thing where the thing pops out. Oh, I love this. I love all the details they put in the art. That's really cool. So that's the June issue of Mad Magazine. Now you're playing for a later edition with a brand new picture. This looks like, I don't know. I don't know what that is. I guess that's the whole point. What the heck is that? Go to the website, GizWiz.biz. If you can identify, you don't have to get it right, obviously. You're playing for an autographed copy of Mad Magazine. Just clever is all that really is needed.
Exactly. Yeah, we're giving away 18 issues just for the clever and stupid answers.
And, by the way, Dick has a great podcast, which you can listen to every week, the GizFizz. And, I mean, the GizWiz.
What the GizWiz?
GizWiz. GizFizz you do after the radio show on this stream. And then the GizFizz you do with Chad Johnson every week.
No, the GizWiz I do with Chad. And the GizFizz I do with here.
And you are?
And when is your next vacation?
GizWiz.tv. Thank you, Dickie D. GizWiz.
Okay, buddy, take care.
Website. Have a great week.
Take care.
Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Have a great Geek Week. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, TWiT, T-W-I-T. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts for this show. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on MacBreak Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And, of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guys show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.